First up, we're focusing on the Mumbai terror attacks coming on 1 year since those attacks happened. Now, the former NSG chief, K Dutt, has told CNN-IBN what really hampered rescue operations.
The point is that the attack took place at around 9:30, and law and order being a state subject, it was for the state authorities to decide when did they want the central forces. And after they had got their clearance from their authority, when the word finally came in, it was 12:50 in the night, and that was 27th. And my commandos had already reached the airport. It is said that an aeroplane was not available. No, an IL-76 was available at Delhi airport. But at that time, they did not have a system where the crew was available round the clock. So the pilot and others had to be called from the residence. Once they reached over there, the aircraft was opened up, the refueling took place, and the warming up of the engine, the loading of all the equipment which the NSG carries with it. It may be relating to communications, it may be the explosive experts, it may be the dog squad of the NSG, the canine unit, and all the support systems which are required. And all this equipment had to be loaded, and it was done manually. By the time we took off, it was 3 in the morning. We reached over here at 5. The buses, vehicles had already been lined up because I had a talk with the DG Maharashtra at that time. On reaching over here, we again loaded the stuff into the buses, and
So, Mr. Dutt, you're saying that it was logistical. It was the logistical hindrance, perhaps, that took some time for the NSG commandos to actually reach the locations for Taj, Oberoi, and Nariman House.
Well, from the time we received the order to move, I see no delay taking place. Yes, probably the NSG could have come over here earlier if soon after the attack at 9:30, within, let us say, half an hour or so, or 45 minutes of it, the NSG had been asked to move. Because in that case, we would have probably reached over here at least 3-4 hours in advance. And I think in an operation of this nature, time is of essence.
You were in the thick of the operations. You personally visited each location. You were supervising, issuing orders. Do you think that an attack of this magnitude could have been possible without a local link? You were in the thick of the operations. You were inside.
You see, where the local link is concerned, it is a matter for the investigating agencies to decide on this. Because we were given a task of neutralizing the terrorists. And at that time, the number did not really matter to me. Yes, the number mattered in the sense that if I knew what is the number of terrorists at each location, that would have made our task earlier. But still, because there had been information that there may be, the number of terrorists may be 5 to 30. Some of the terrorists may be staying in the hotels as guests. So that is why I say, you see, that number really did not matter to me in detail. But yes, it would have definitely helped me to say at each of these locations, there are so many terrorists the NSG is required to deal with. Because then we could have focused and we would have known how many exactly to look for and sort of establish contacts with them. Contacts, when I say, means being able to locate them. Because when we reached over here, the number was not known. The layout plans of these hotels were in a very rudimentary manner, and the location, there had been no contact with the terrorists, more or less. A short skirmish with the Marcos at Hotel Taj, but at Hotel Oberoi, no skirmish, no shooting at all, no contact with them. So the result was, we have to be very careful when you're advancing to find out where exactly they are. Once we have the location, then we can pin them down. In any terrorist operation, it is very necessary that once you establish contact with the terrorists, you do not allow to get away. Get away means that you do not know where they have gone. You stay on them, you pin them down. And if one is able to do that, then the question of overpowering them to that extent becomes easier.